you ever had one of those days where someone says or does something that just throws off your whole vibe? Maybe it was a rude remark, a dismissive look, or someone cutting you off in traffic. It's frustrating, right? But here's the truth. Your emotions are always in your hands unless you decide to give that control away. Now, imagine going through life with unshakable inner peace and confidence. You're so mentally strong that even the most irritating situations can't really get to you. This isn't some unrealistic dream, it's a skill you can build. Their action doesn't define you, your reaction does. In this episode, we're breaking down 10 powerful mindset shifts that will help you stop reacting emotionally, let go of anger, and take back control of your mental state. This isn't about ignoring your feelings or pretending things don't bother you. It's about developing the mental strength to handle life's challenges with calm and clarity. From handling criticism with grace to setting boundaries and truly letting go, you'll learn practical tools to protect your peace and step into a more confident version of yourself. By the end of this episode, you'll have the mindset and strategies to stay calm and make smart choices, even in the toughest situations. Your journey to emotional mastery starts now. Lesson 1. Now understand that your emotional reactions are your choice. Imagine you're enjoying a peaceful day, maybe sipping a warm cup of tea or taking a relaxing walk by the lake. Suddenly, someone says something rude or dismissive, and just like that, your good mood disappears. You might think, they just ruined my day. But here's the truth, they didn't ruin your mood, you let them. Your emotions are your responsibility, not anyone else's. No one can control how you feel unless you give them that power. Let's look at it another way. Life will throw challenges your way, but how you respond, that's entirely up to you. Think of it like this. Imagine walking down a bright, sunny street wearing sunglasses. The sun is still shining just as brightly, but the lenses help filter out the glare so you can see clearly and move comfortably. Managing your emotions works the same way. Outside triggers still exist, but you can choose whether or not to let them affect you. As the psychologist William James once said, the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Now let's be real. When someone cuts in front of you in line at the store, or when a stranger leaves a negative comment online, your first instinct might be frustration or anger. But if you take a moment to pause, you'll realize something important. Your emotions aren't automatic. You have the power to decide how you react. Imagine you're in a team meeting, and your boss completely ignores your suggestion. You could immediately feel frustrated, shut down, or dwell on it all day. But you could also pause and ask yourself, does this really mean my idea has no value? Or could it be that they're just focused on something else right now? By shifting your perspective, you take back control. Instead of letting frustration build, you can stay calm and move forward. The key, separating feelings from reactions. Now, this doesn't mean you have to suppress your emotions. It simply means understanding that your feelings and your reactions are two different things. Feeling angry, disappointed, or upset is completely normal. But those emotions don't have to dictate your actions. So, how can you train yourself to stay emotionally steady? Step 1. Pause and identify your emotions. When you feel anger, frustration, or disappointment creeping in, stop for a moment. Acknowledge it by saying to yourself, I'm feeling angry, or I'm a little upset right now. Simply recognizing your emotions can help break the automatic reaction and give you space to regain control. Step 2. Reframe the situation. Ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? Am I reading too much into what they said? Are my emotions based on facts or just assumptions? And right now, what's the best thing I can do for myself? Often, shifting your perspective can make frustration disappear. Step 3. Consciously choose your response. You can let emotions dictate your actions, or you can choose to handle the situation with calmness and wisdom. Not reacting to rudeness and refusing to be shaken by minor things is a sign of strength. Every moment you have a choice. Once you master this, little things, like a rude cashier, a dismissive coworker, or even someone cutting you off in traffic, won't throw you off so easily. So next time someone tries to push your buttons, remember this: their actions don't define you. Your response does. And when you choose calm over chaos, you're not just managing emotions, you're claiming true freedom. Lesson 2. Be yourself. Don't let others' expectations control you. Have you ever been let down by someone's actions? Maybe you've always been there for them, offering your support whenever they needed it. But when it was your turn to ask for help, they were nowhere to be found. You might find yourself thinking, how could they be so inconsiderate? I would never do that to them. But here's the truth: people don't live by your expectations. They live by their own values, priorities, and experiences. Hoping others will think, act, or respond the way you would is like expecting the ocean to stop washing up on the shore. It's just not going to happen. And trying to make it happen will only leave you frustrated. Accept reality instead of trying to control others. Everyone's actions are shaped by their own experiences, beliefs, and circumstances. When someone lets you down, it's rarely about you. It's just who they are. Trying to change them is like trying to catch the wind. The more you struggle to control things, the more powerless you'll feel. Imagine you have a coworker who always procrastinates. They reply to important emails at the last minute, making your work more stressful. You could get upset, complain, or try to force them to change. But another option is to accept the situation for what it is and adjust your approach. Maybe you set earlier deadlines or check in ahead of time. That way their habits don't control your emotions. As psychologist Carl Jung once said, don't try to change others. Instead, be like the sun, just shine. Some will find warmth in it, some will find it too bright, and some will avoid it completely. But in the end, only we can change ourselves. When you stop expecting others to act the way you want, you free yourself from unnecessary frustration. So, how do you let go of expectations? Step 1. Notice your assumptions. When you feel upset with someone, ask yourself, was I expecting them to act a certain way? Step 2. Question those expectations. Do they really have an obligation to meet your standards? Or is it just what you're used to? Step 3. Shift your focus. Stop wasting energy trying to change others. Instead, focus on what you can control, your own emotions and reactions. When you release your expectations of others, you also release stress and disappointment. A friend who takes hours to reply, a rude cashier, or a coworker who interrupts. They don't have to ruin your mood unless you allow it. You can't control how people behave, but you can control how you respond. So the next time someone does something that frustrates you, take a deep breath and remind yourself, they don't have to act the way I want them to, and that's okay. Because when you let go of unnecessary expectations, life becomes simpler and your mind becomes lighter. Lesson 3. Let go of the need to always be right. Think back to the last argument you had. Maybe it was over something small, like which restaurant is better, or maybe it was something more serious, like a disagreement with a friend or family member. When things got heated, did you feel that strong urge to prove you were right? It's completely natural. We often tie our opinions to our sense of self, so when someone challenges them, it can feel like a personal attack. But here's the truth: constantly trying to prove yourself right is exhausting. It creates stress, tension, and, in the end, can even hurt your relationships. Why are we so afraid of being wrong? Sometimes we hold on to the need to be right because, deep down, we fear that being wrong makes us somehow less than. But true confidence isn't about always being right. It's about being secure enough to handle differing opinions without feeling threatened. Psychologist Alfred Adler once said, "A truly mature person doesn't need to prove they're smarter than others. They're open to learning from different perspectives." Imagine if, instead of being defensive, we approached disagreements with curiosity. The outcome would likely be very different. Is this argument even worth it? Picture this. You're at a family gathering and someone starts going on about a topic you completely disagree with. Your first instinct might be to jump in, throw facts at them, and prove them wrong. But before you do, pause and ask yourself, do I really need to correct them? Will winning this argument actually improve my life? Most of the time, the answer is no. So why waste your energy? How to let go of the need to be right. Step 1. Pause before reacting. When you feel the urge to argue, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Sometimes just taking a moment to breathe can make a huge difference. Step 2. Try to understand, not just debate. Instead of immediately pushing back, try asking, why do you feel that way? Sometimes people just want to be heard, not challenged. By listening first, you might find common ground or at least a better understanding. Step 3. Pick your battles. Not every argument deserves your time and energy. Some topics matter deeply and are worth discussing. Others, not so much. Knowing when to speak up and when to stay quiet is a skill that brings peace and clarity. Why this matters? As you practice letting go of the need to be right, something amazing will start to happen. You'll feel lighter. You won't feel the pressure to control every conversation. Arguments won't dictate your mood or stress levels. Disagreements won't feel like battles to win anymore, but rather opportunities to understand and grow. Real wisdom isn't about always being right. It's about knowing when to hold on and when to let go. So, the next time you feel that urge to argue, stop and ask yourself, will winning this argument actually make me happier? Or will staying calm bring me more peace? More often than not, letting go is the strongest move you can make. Lesson 4. Don't let other people's words define your worth. Have you ever had this happen? You're excitedly sharing an idea you're passionate about, and suddenly, someone casually shuts it down with a dismissive remark, maybe even a sarcastic tone. Your mood plummets instantly, and you start to doubt yourself. Could my ideas really be that bad? And now you're left wondering, was my idea really that bad? But pause for a second. Does one person's opinion really get to decide your worth? Too often we tie our self-confidence to what others say. If we get praise, we feel great. If we get criticism, we start doubting ourselves. But here's the truth. Your worth isn't based on someone else's opinion. Their words are just their perspective, not an actual measure of your abilities. The moment you stop letting outside voices control how you see yourself, you take back your emotional freedom. What others say doesn't define your true worth. Let's say you're in a meeting and you pitch a new idea. Someone immediately responds, "That won't work. We tried something similar before and it failed." Your first reaction might be embarrassment or self-doubt. But what if instead you paused and told yourself, "Their reaction is based on their experience. It's not a reflection of my potential." Suddenly, their words don't carry as much weight. When you stop letting outside opinions dictate your emotions, you gain real confidence and inner peace. How to stop letting other people's words affect you. Step 1. Pause before reacting. When you hear something that stings, take a deep breath. Give yourself space before responding emotionally. Step 2. Separate fact from opinion. Ask yourself, is what they're saying actually true, or is it just their perspective? Step 3. Reaffirm your own value. Remind yourself, my worth isn't defined by someone else's approval. I decide that. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but the way we interpret them." The same goes for criticism. It's not people's words that affect us, but the meaning we attach to them. Now, this doesn't mean ignoring all feedback. Constructive advice can help you grow. But meaningless negativity? Not worth your time. When you take control of your own self-worth, no passing comment can shake you. So next time someone says something critical or dismissive, stop and ask yourself, am I really going to let this define me? Or do I choose to focus on my true worth? Because the moment you stop letting others decide your value, you step into your own power. Lesson 5. Protect your energy by setting boundaries. Have you ever found yourself in this situation? You're busy with work and suddenly a friend calls, asking for help with something that isn't really urgent. You want to say no, but you're worried about letting them down, so you reluctantly agree. Or maybe a colleague dumps a last-minute task on you, assuming you'll just take it on because, well, your time seems unlimited. But you don't want to say no. Over time, you start to feel drained, and you may even begin to feel frustrated with these relationships. But here's the thing. The issue isn't really with the other person. It's about whether you've clearly set boundaries for yourself. Setting boundaries isn't about being cold or selfish. It's about self-respect. If you always prioritize others' needs, you'll end up neglecting your own, and that's when you start to feel burned out. The reality is, if you don't set boundaries for your time and energy, others will make those decisions for you. Why setting boundaries is crucial. Imagine your energy as a battery. Every time you agree to something you don't really want to take on, your battery drains just a little bit more. If you don't recharge, eventually your battery will be empty and you'll still be trying to run on fumes. How to set effective boundaries. Step 1. Be direct and clear about your needs. Don't beat around the bush. Use simple, calm, and firm language to communicate your boundaries. Step 2. Use I statements instead of blaming others. For example, instead of saying, "You always ask me at the last minute," try saying, "I need to plan my time in advance, so I'd appreciate it if you could let me know about things sooner." This is clear, respectful, and sets the tone for future interactions. Step 3. Stick to your boundaries. Once you set a boundary, stick to it. If you don't follow through, others won't take it seriously either. Boundaries make relationships healthier, not distant. Brené Brown, a well-known psychologist, once said, "Clear is kind, unclear is unkind." Setting boundaries is one of the most empathetic things you can do. This means healthy boundaries won't ruin relationships. They will actually make them stronger and more respectful. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you have to say no to every request. It's about recognizing the difference between reasonable requests that won't drain you and unreasonable demands that leave you exhausted. If you don't recharge your own energy, you'll eventually run on empty, and that's when things start to break down. How to know when it's time to set a boundary. So, the next time you feel like your time or energy is being overextended, ask yourself, am I sacrificing my own needs to please others? Have I been clear about my boundaries? Remember, your energy is precious and it's up to you to protect it. If you don't, others will take advantage of it and you'll end up feeling worn out and resentful. Setting boundaries isn't about rejecting others, it's about protecting yourself. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you keep saying yes to others and ignoring your own needs, you'll eventually feel depleted, frustrated, and even question your own worth. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you're refusing to help. It means you're ensuring that you can truly help without sacrificing your health or happiness in the process. So take care of yourself first. The more you protect your energy, the better you'll be able to show up for others and for yourself. Lesson 6. Breaking free from the need for external validation. Have you ever experienced this? You excitedly share an idea with a friend or colleague that you're really proud of, only to be met with indifference or even criticism. That feeling of disappointment, does it feel real to you? You might start questioning yourself. Are they implying that my idea is terrible? So, why is their opinion so important to you? Why does it have the power to affect your emotions and your confidence? Seeking external validation is a natural instinct, but if you rely too much on it, it's like chasing a shadow. You can never really catch it. True freedom comes from within, not from others' approval. Step 1. Everyone's perspective is limited. People's opinions are shaped by their own experiences, biases, and insecurities. When they give feedback, they're often looking through their own lens, not yours. And that lens may not reflect your true reality. Step 2. You can't please everyone. No matter what you do, there will always be people who don't agree with you. This isn't a personal failure, it's just a part of life. Step 3. Your worth isn't determined by others. Your value isn't dependent on what others think of you. It's inherent, far beyond the reach of external validation. As long as you live for the approval of others, you will forever be their prisoner. Heraclitus, an everyday example. Imagine you bought a new hat that you absolutely love. You walk into the office and one of your colleagues casually comments, "Oh, that's an interesting hat." How do you react? You have two choices. Let that comment knock your confidence and spend the rest of your day wondering, are they saying I look bad? Or smile to yourself and remind yourself, that's just their opinion and I still love this hat. When you stop depending on external approval, you'll find yourself freer to be you, confidently and authentically. How to break free from the opinions of others. Step 1. Question the importance of their opinion. When someone offers feedback or criticism, pause and ask yourself, does this person's opinion really determine the course of my life? You'll realize that often their views are just fleeting thoughts that don't define you. Step 2. Focus on your inner values. Instead of worrying about how others see you, focus on what you believe in and what matters most to you. Make decisions based on your values, not theirs. Step 3. Practice letting go. When someone gives you feedback, imagine it like water flowing over a stone. It may touch you, but it leaves no lasting mark. By practicing this, you can stop being weighed down by negative opinions. True growth comes from being willing to be misunderstood. You are the master of your life. Once you start mastering your emotions and no longer rely on others' opinions, you'll realize that you can live with more freedom. You won't be living to please others, but to live true to yourself. Next time you feel anxious because of what someone else thinks, stop and ask yourself, am I living to please them or am I living for myself? Your life should be defined by you, not by what others think of you. Lesson 7. Respond with silence instead of anger. When you're in an argument, you're likely to face a lot of emotional challenges. Especially when someone purposely provokes you or says something that upsets you, it's easy to feel your anger rising, your heart rate picking up, and your face turning red. Your natural instinct might be to fire back with a sharp response. But have you ever considered what might happen if, in that moment, you chose silence instead of responding with anger? Silence isn't weakness, it's a form of self-control. When someone tries to provoke you, silence is one of the strongest responses you can choose. It doesn't mean you're avoiding the problem or being passive, but it shows the strength within you. It means you have control over your emotions instead of letting external negativity dictate how you feel or react. Franz Kafka once said, "The ability to control your emotions is the truest form of freedom." By responding with calm, you not only avoid falling into the trap of emotional reactions but also make the provocation seem pointless, immature, and childish. Imagine this. You're having lunch with some friends and one of them makes a rude remark aimed at you. Now you have two options. You could immediately lash out, trying to defend yourself, but that could make the situation more awkward. Or you could choose to stay silent, take a moment to breathe and think, and let the provocation fall flat. By doing so, you maintain your composure and show more maturity. In this situation, silence is clearly the stronger choice. You prevent them from continuing their attack and instead, you let their behavior speak for itself. Franz von Steuben once said, "Anger is a trap we set for ourselves, but silence is the wisdom to escape it." Anger can only last as long as you fuel it. Silence is the best extinguisher for that fire. It cuts off the fuel before it even gets started. So, how can you practice this powerful use of silence? First, take a moment before reacting. When emotions are running high, don't respond right away. Give yourself a few seconds to breathe, think about what's being said, and ask yourself if it's worth responding to. Second, listen instead of defending yourself. Sometimes people don't really want to attack you. They just want to be heard. By listening, you not only give them a chance to vent, but you also keep the situation from escalating into an unnecessary argument. Third, speak only when necessary. When you do need to respond, keep your words short, calm, and to the point. Avoid getting caught up in meaningless back and forths that only fuel more anger. Seneca said, "True wisdom lies not in replying with words, but in knowing when to remain silent." Silence protects your inner peace. It doesn't mean you're giving in. It means you're standing firm and staying composed in the face of adversity. Next time someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself, is this conversation worth my emotional energy? Are they really trying to make me angry, or are they simply looking for a reaction from me? If the answer is no, then choose silence. It will help you maintain clarity and calmness in the face of chaos. Lesson 8. Practice gratitude and let the anger fade away. Imagine you're having a tough day, your work progress is delayed, a colleague is causing unnecessary trouble, and you even accidentally bump into someone while walking down the street. Frustration and anger start to build up, and you might think to yourself, why is everything going wrong today? But what if, instead of focusing on all the frustrating things, you shifted your attention to the things that are still worth being grateful for? You'd be surprised at how much your mood can change. Anger and gratitude simply can't coexist. Gratitude acts like a reset button for your emotions, helping you break free from negative feelings and regain your calm and clarity. As Seneca once said, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. When you start to look at life through the lens of gratitude, you'll notice. You stop obsessing over the things that make you angry and start focusing on the things that bring you peace and joy. Your patience and resilience grow, allowing you to face challenges with more calm and ease. Now, let's think about another real-life example. Imagine you're getting ready to hang out with friends on a weekend afternoon, but suddenly, a downpour hits, and the outdoor plans you had are ruined. You have two options. You can complain about the weather, get upset about not being able to go out, and start feeling frustrated about the whole day. Or you can take a deep breath, feel grateful that you're warm and dry inside, appreciate the rain for nourishing the earth, and even be thankful for the chance to dive into a book you've been meaning to read. This simple shift in perspective can immediately ease your anger and help you regain inner peace. As Carl Jung said, if you can't change the situation, change your attitude toward it. So, how do you make gratitude a habit? First, when anger starts to rise, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, in this moment, what can I be thankful for? Second, get into the habit of writing down what you're grateful for each day. Even the smallest things count, like enjoying a nice cup of tea or receiving a kind smile from someone. And third, try to reframe your thinking when you face challenges. Ask yourself, what can this situation teach me? How can it help me grow? As Buddha wisely said, gratitude is the foundation of inner peace. Even in difficulty, it allows us to find calm. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means choosing to focus on the things that can help you grow and learn. Next time you're feeling angry or frustrated, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what can I be thankful for right now? You'll be amazed at how quickly your anger fades, and in its place, you'll feel a sense of calm and satisfaction. Lesson 9: Viewing criticism as an opportunity for growth. Imagine you've just completed a task at work. You've invested a lot of time and effort, and you're feeling confident as you share your work with the team, expecting praise. But then one of your colleagues offers some criticism, pointing out a few flaws in your work. At first, you might feel disappointed or even frustrated. After all, you've worked hard, and it's not easy to hear that your efforts didn't quite meet expectations. However, what if you were to look at this criticism from a different angle? What if, instead of seeing it as a judgment of your abilities, you saw it as a chance to learn and improve? Criticism, whether it's gentle or harsh, can actually offer you valuable insights. Even if the way it's delivered makes you uncomfortable, it still has the potential to expose blind spots you might not have seen before, challenge the way you think and approach your work, motivate you to raise the bar and do better next time. Once you begin to see criticism as a tool for growth, it no longer feels like a burden. It becomes an opportunity to evolve and improve. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine you're preparing for an important presentation. You've spent hours practicing and refining your speech, and you feel confident when you finally share it with a colleague for feedback. However, they point out that the structure of your presentation could be more concise, and some of your arguments could use more evidence. Your initial thought might be, they just don't understand how much effort I put into this. But instead of reacting defensively, take a moment to pause, breathe, and shift your mindset. Think about it this way: could their feedback actually help me make my presentation better? This shift in perspective moves you from being a passive recipient of criticism to an active learner who sees feedback as an opportunity to improve. As Simon Sinek wisely said, criticism isn't meant to defeat you, it's meant to help you go further. Of course, not all criticism is worth accepting. Sometimes it may come from misunderstanding, jealousy, or someone's own limitations. The key is to learn how to filter the feedback you receive. Keep the parts that can help you grow, and let go of those that don't add value to your progress. So, when you receive criticism, here's how to handle it with grace. First, pause before reacting. Take a few deep breaths and give yourself a moment to process what's being said. This helps you detach from your emotions and respond more thoughtfully. Then, evaluate the source of the feedback. Ask yourself, is this person offering constructive criticism with good intentions, or are they just venting their frustrations? Finally, look for the value in the feedback. Even if it's not delivered in the most pleasant way, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this information to improve? As psychologist Carl Jung once said, criticism is not just a mirror, it's also a light that illuminates the path ahead. When you adopt this mindset, you'll find that criticism becomes a tool you can use to grow stronger, learn more, and improve your skills. Next time you face criticism, instead of feeling defeated, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? By shifting your perspective on criticism, you'll see it not as a setback but as a stepping stone toward continual improvement. Lesson 10: Mastering the Art of Letting Go. Imagine this. You're rowing a boat on a calm lake, holding a heavy lead weight in your hands. You're about to toss it into the water, but in that brief moment of hesitation, the weight starts pulling your boat down, making it harder to stay balanced. Anger, resentment, and the desire for revenge are just like that lead weight. They don't drag the person you're angry with, they weigh down your own heart. True strength doesn't come from holding on tightly to those emotions. It comes from knowing when to let go. Now, letting go doesn't mean you forget or forgive everything. It means releasing the emotional baggage that's holding you down. Stopping the pain from the past from affecting your present. Freeing yourself from resentment and anger so you can focus on the here and now and the future ahead. As psychologist Alfred Adler once said, the greatest pain in life comes from not letting go of the pain of the past. When you stay stuck in past hurts, betrayals, or anger, the only person who suffers is you. Holding on to those emotions doesn't hurt the other person. It only hurts you. Letting go isn't about doing something for others. It's about freeing yourself. A real-life example. Let's say you've been working on a long-term project, putting in tons of time and energy. You've made a huge contribution, but when the results are in, your boss gives all the credit to someone else. They overlook your hard work. What do? You could hold on to that resentment, thinking about revenge and letting it consume you. It could eat away at you every day, affecting your emotions and work performance. Or you could realize that the past can't be changed. You have the power to choose how to move forward. You can decide not to let this situation impact your future, and instead focus your energy on more meaningful work and relationships. As the Stoic philosopher Epicurus said, no one can hurt you unless you allow yourself to be hurt. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring or tolerating unfairness. It means understanding that you control how you view and respond to situations. You have the power to decide. Will you keep dwelling on the hurt, or focus on your personal growth? Will you stay stuck in past anger, or will you focus on creating a better future? The act of letting go isn't about doing it for someone else. It's about giving yourself the freedom to live your life. How to practice letting go. Step 1. Allow yourself to feel the pain rather than pushing it aside. Pretending like nothing happened won't help you let go. You have to acknowledge and experience your emotions, giving yourself time to process them. Step 2. Reframe the experience. Ask yourself, what lesson can I learn from this? How did this situation help me grow? Step 3. Live in the present, not in the past. Whenever you catch yourself dwelling on the past, remind yourself, my power lies in the choices I make today, not in what happened before. As psychologist Viktor Frankl said, we cannot change the external world, but we can choose how to respond to it. True power doesn't come from holding on, it comes from knowing when to let go. Just imagine how much lighter you'd feel if you stopped letting anger, resentment, or past injustices drag you down. Letting go isn't about letting others win. It's about giving yourself the freedom to live with peace. Next time you catch yourself holding on to something painful, ask yourself, is this really worth losing my inner peace over? When you learn to let go, you'll discover that life becomes lighter and freer. Today, we've discussed 10 key principles to help you master your emotions. Your emotional reactions are your choice. Stop expecting others to behave the way you want them to. Let go of the need to always be right. Don't let other people's words define your worth. Set boundaries to protect your energy. Stop depending on others' opinions. Respond with silence, not anger. Practice gratitude to dissolve anger. See criticism as an opportunity for growth. Master the art of letting go. These principles aren't about becoming cold or indifferent. They're about becoming stronger and more free. Letting go is a kind of strength. Letting go is for yourself. In today's fast-paced world, we're all facing challenges, conflicts, and frustrations. You might have been hurt or experienced injustice. But what really matters is that we can't control everything around us. The one thing we can control is how we choose to respond. You control your emotions. You decide your peace. You create your future. Let the past stay in the past, and let your heart feel light.